today we have with us Mr. Sanjay Sachdeva, the Executive Director at the brand Spyby, a seasoned professional, out and out. He has worked with a lot of brands at retail level who have operated in e-commerce and who has a very in-depth outlook of how brands function, how they scale, how they look at their seasons. So we are looking forward to having this interaction with Mr. Sanjay. So yeah, Mr. Sanjay, very warm welcome to you.
Thanks, Siddharth. Thanks for everything which you said. As far as I'm concerned, I've been working for the last 36 years, as I said.
Perfect.
And first few years was with FMCG.
Right.
And then there have been brands domestic mostly.
Right.
And this is Spyby, as we said, is a startup.
Right.
But yes, having worked for so long, I still feel that probably the learning curve is there. There's a lot to be learned, and whatever I've learned over with the experience of brands and with the customers, partners, and everything. So that will go into making Spyby a huge success. We just started, but yes, there's a long way to go. But yes, we are very much there.
Perfect. Great stuff. So Sanjay ji, you would like to know how does a day in your life as an executive director of Spyby looks like? How does it plan out?
Yeah, Siddharth, I would say honestly, it is not different from what most other people's day is.
Okay.
Everybody is doing their job to the best of their capability, and so do I try to do it. And of course, I have a bigger responsibility of managing number of things at the same time, and everybody has 24 hours. So how I divide my day is to since numbers are very important, so whatever network we have created so far, which is of 100 points of sales, so number crunching is very important, which we do in connection. I'm connected to my retail head, and he's further connected to the retail team, and we take the stock of the situation, what has happened last week, and the way it is planned, either weekly or on daily basis. Of course, to my core team, I'm directly, we are in touch, which we have to, because this is business where, every hour is important. And two, of course, then, giving that information to the management, sharing, not giving. We share a lot of information as, how we are progressing and how we can do better, or maybe, what are the scopes. Of course, this is very generic, which I'm telling you. It is, divided into a number of other factors, there are reports and there are meetings and, so many other things. Another thing is a very important part has become, and which you are aware about, is that, I'm a sales guy actually, basically, but, I've gotten into the product side because, to take the brand or anything to anywhere, the product has to be the first thing, and then everything falls in line. Of course, how we got connected is because we found that very good partners in you, and of course with your mind and the kind of professionalism and team you have, I think we'll be able to develop a great product. The rest of other things, all the mathematics and science, we are aware, and probably since the organization is not from this background, they are more into service industry. This is the first or second thing which is on the product side, and this is our dream project, of course, and probably I'm only trying to help the dream come true for others as well as mine. So that's how I can sum it up.
Very well. Sanjay ji, see, from what we can see, predominantly Spyby started as a D2C brand, okay, and now you are going across both offline and online channels, okay. So just from the D2C perspective, if I ask you, what are the challenges that you face as a D2C brand or D2C side of the brand? How will you what would you like to say about it?
The main challenge I see here is there are so many brands, international as well as domestic, as well as there are so many labels which a retailer or our customers can procure, and the space within those the retail space becomes a little challenging. But yes, having said that, if you have a good product, and you, of course, there is another thing which the retailer or a large format or a retailer, how brick and mortar MBO. So there, what they, it's been like we have been there and done that, and we are we have worked with them across number of brands. So that confidence they have, because I think one dictum is very close to what I think about business is that sales go up and down, but service remains forever. So at some point of time, we have served them, and we have tried our best. So that confidence is there. So it is going to counter, probably if they have space, and we have the product, service they are sure about. So we are going to get there. So basically, that is a challenge. But of course, that is no challenge. Of course, besides that, the timelines and those deliverables which the brand has to deliver first, they're very important, and to stand to your commitments, be firm to your commitments. That's the challenge which we can overcome.
Perfect. Well put. Or we can get a takeaway that you guys are quite ambitious and going all out, in putting this brand up together. And again, it will be a job of covering a lot of geographies, a lot of spaces online, offline, across. So again, it can be a tedious or arduous job also. So what are the challenges you would say you find in supply and the sourcing side, and how do you imagine you will keep facing them and then also keep solving them across as with seasons? So
absolutely, launching a brand in India which is demographically very vivid, very wide, and the choices are different, the festivals are different, the preferences are different, it's very challenging. But yes, over the years with the experience, we know that probably the first thing beat any apparels, men's, women's, or kids, the most important is to know the best purchases happen around the festival time. Of course, we are a casual brand. Still around the festivals, if you have something ethnic, or maybe party, you need two casuals to back it up. Second is the marriages and how they are going to go over the calendar year. So that thing is sorted out. And there are, of course, there are some fabrics which, since this is a kidswear brand, we have to be really very careful and with the fabrics and with the choice of colors. So we know that game. I mean, I have been associated with a couple of kidswear brands, which were very big in their time. So this science we know, and probably we'll be able to overcome that challenge. And the festivals, the marriages, and there are lean periods which you have to encounter, and so many other things. So probably 36 years. I mean, I'm still learning. I'm not expert at anything.
I don't know.
So that is what I love to quote. I'm not expert. I'm still learning, but with whatever I've learned, I like to share and probably keep the team motivated, management, happy by the revenues and things like that. So it is all covered. Of course, with the retailers we share probably there are a lot of retailers with whom we are one-to-one on the first name basis. Of course, with the large format stores. So it's a simple business, of course there are so many challenges, then it becomes simple. So that's how it goes.
Cool. So it sounds like, back with experience, we can see, that things will, flat out. But again, as he's saying, there are lean periods, there are festivities, new trends. So I think it's more about being open to them and being just open to solving problems as and when they come. See, we have seen the advancement in technology now, and fashion is not wary of that development. Okay, so taking your perspective, how do you see technology helping making demand forecasts and predictability?
So that I would say that whatever technology comes in, of course, these are the human minds, which have to control that, technology part. And still it is the conceptualization, which comes from the humans. No technology can predict the fashion trends. It has to be fed by, the information has to go from a human, so that on that point there is a fair bit of balance which needs to be achieved. If the, as they say that, if how is clear, then if why is clear, and then the how is easy. So that is how we see.
Running a brand, obviously, there are benchmarks that you have to perform against, and it can be internal as well. Plus, there is competition outside also. Like there are comparisons. For example, whenever you go to multifaceted stores where they have more than one brand, and obviously number crunching is there, comparisons are there, competition is there. Coming to that side of the business, we would like to ask that how do you firstly face and then manage the competition?
Siddharth, I'll be very honest. I've given this reply, or maybe I've mentioned this to whoever I've spoken to. If somebody has asked me, be it my management or anybody, that who is your competition? So probably there is another poetic reply I can give you, that is that probably we could be our only competitors if we don't deliver what is expected from a brand. If we are late, or maybe the product is not matching, or maybe it is not like in falling in line. We are and the supply chain, of course, the most important. Sourcing, of course. Sourcing के बाद product comes after that. Supply chain, of course, in time, that's all the game all about us. And if we are, it is not falling in line, then because it's such a huge market, India, our country fortunately offers a great opportunity for everyone to grow and excel. And whoever wants to do a good job probably has not failed. So only competitors I see is we could be our only competitors. Rest the product. I mean, of course, there are other virtues also. So how we have planned this season, let's say this season or going forward, is that we know that what the competition is doing. So we are not trying to fall in the same line. Probably that will be like cannibalizing the within the space. The retailer also will not. Retailer or the stores will not welcome us or maybe give us space. So we are trying to make it different and very international. The colors are very international. Having said that, this is a very generic statement again. Yes, we are trying to achieve that. There are few brands, or a lot of brands, who look very kiddish. So we are trying to achieve something which is different from both these, so that probably retailer space, every inch of that space is like is modernized. So that's how it is. There are challenges, but yes, there is no competition. Of course, space crunch is there and everything is there. But yes, you can still manage with that because the brands going in and going out, and so you have that space within that. So.
Well said. Well, very well put up. Sanjay ji, you must have seen that people are now opening up to a lot of social media influences, and that has led to demand in fast fashion also. So, how would you say your brand is trying to cope up with the generation of demand in fast fashion now?
I would say that as far as fast fashion is concerned, there are brands and there are labels who have adopted this trajectory. But probably we are trying to keep it not simple, but yes, close to the basic. And again, having said that, that is also a very vast or wide statement. So I'll shorten this up, or maybe narrow this up. Is that we are bringing up products and bringing up fabrics and colors which are sustainable in that sense. It is not highly fashionable, but yes, it is very. It will look very. It is going to look very premium. Sometimes the fashion, because we have those MRP constraints and price constraints. Sometimes what you bring, what you try, one tries to bring with the fast fashion does not match, the premiumness of the product. So on that count, we are going to cover this point and be very wantable. And social media you mentioned, of course, has a lot of huge influence on the end consumer.
So Sanjay ji, moving on, kidswear is a very growing category we have seen in the recent times, and it's a lot of brands have come in. So, but again, we want to take it from the horse's mouth. That how do you think the current trend will shape the kidswear category in fashion, and how do you plan to scale it in the upcoming seasons?
I would say that with most brands, whether it is other than fast fashion, basic things remain the same. the 60% of the merchandise or of the range is very basic and core, which which we have also kept. So when the basic or the core range is taken care of, which will give you ultimately 60% of your sales, 40% you can change. And as far as this category goes, I mean, of course, this is a rapidly growing category. It always was. We have a huge population, of course, and a lot of kids, a lot of people, from 0 to let's say 45. I think 70% will be under this. So huge market is there, and the trends, they keep changing. But in kidswear, what is happening is that more and more kids are like probably want to select their own apparel. So when if he's like since we cater to 4 to 14 or 5 to 14, and we want to add another size 16, they want to buy their own clothes. They have their own choices. They are very strong likes and dislikes. So if that is covered, and so I think a lot of things have been covered in this. And as far as scaling this business, of course, we have plans. I mean, to make our core range, basic range, which is not very very minimalistic designing and things or certain embellishments. Then we have done if we are able to change the rest 40% every season. I mean, so those take care of the revenues and the bottom lines also. And of course, I mean, let's say if we plan to go about 100 crores in 3 years, there is no stopping. Somebody who's very serious and somebody who has got the right partners in place.
It looks like a very serious journey from Sanjay ji's side, and the dedication shows already that I think even 100 CR in 3 years won't, like, it doesn't look like a deadline. I think they will keep scaling and achieve new heights and become one of the most prominent brands in kidswear category in India, domestic market. And that is, I'm assuming that is the least they will achieve. And wishing them all the best. And Sanjay ji, thanks a lot for your time, for your valuable time.
Thank you so much.